was connected to my hotspot. And now I've connected to Wi-Fi. So let me know if you can see me. Yes. Okay, good. Welcome in. Hey, VBs, how are you? All right, excellent. So CC, your questions were first. So we'll dive into yours here in just a minute. I've got 4 questions for us to go through. And then just like the last couple weeks, I've got questions for you guys. It's been kind of fun to think of questions to ask all of you. So we'll give it here another minute. No, I did not. I wasn't able to do that, BBs. I saw it, but I didn't have the time to do it. All right, so let's see here. I'm going to give it another minute, see if anybody else joins, then we're going to get started. So CC, you're up first. I've got your questions, and then Dina, I've got yours. And then I have one from Janie, although she is on the ferry leaving Magic Kingdom, so she said she might be a little bit late. So we'll give her a couple minutes. Hopefully she can join. How's everybody's day today? Anybody do anything exciting today? Today was my Friday. I'm off tomorrow and Friday. So it was a good day. Anytime Wednesday can be your Friday, it's really good. Grocery shopping. That's my Sunday, CC. My Sundays, I record the weekly podcast and then I go for groceries. Yeah, just work. Dean, I understand that. So yeah, I'm taking tomorrow and Friday off. My youngest son is a freshman in college right now, but he played high school baseball. And it happens to be at the same high school that I went to high school at. And so for the 4 years that he played high school baseball, I announced all of the games for them. And this weekend they're hosting a tournament. And although he's gone off to college, they asked me if I would be available to announce the games. So I will be down at the ball field all day tomorrow, Friday and Saturday. There are 12 games in total that I'll be announcing. So I'm excited to do that. I enjoy baseball a lot. There's several kids on the team that he played with last year when they were juniors and he was a senior. So it'll be nice to get to see those kids again and visit with them a little bit on the ball field. Yard work. Ugh. So Lamons, it's a sore subject for me. And I don't mean physically, although if I do yard work, I'm sore, but I am going to probably have to mow my yard this weekend for the first time since winter has departed. And I'm just not a fan of having to mow the yard because what do? You mow and you fertilize and water so it can grow again so you can mow it again. It's just a vicious circle. And so I'm not a huge fan of having to mow my yard, but it is what it is, I suppose. So, yeah, I would, if I could get away with it, I'd put AstroTurf in my yard and never have to mow. He's out mowing right now. I need to mow. My grass needs to get mowed, but it's going to have to probably wait until Sunday after baseball. Allergies and heat are too much where we live. I understand that, BBs. I totally get that. Knock on wood. Fortunately, I don't have to worry too much about allergies. But it's just hey, Jessica, it's just the repetitive process. Mow, water, grows, mow it again, repeat. It's like wash, rinse, and repeat with your shampoo. All right. So, Jessica, since I see that you're here, is it possible that you have somebody hanging out there with you? Ruby says hello. That's the person I was wondering if she was hanging out with you. So can I have a quick conversation with Ruby? You can type the chat for her if you'd like. So Ruby is one of my favorite people. I guess y'all are, but Ruby's one of my favorite people. So Ruby, I have a couple questions to ask you before we get into the questions that everybody has sent in and then the ones that I have for the chat. So Ruby, I'd like to know from you, who is your favorite Disney character? Is she thinking about it? I don't know. Okay. All right. Is there a favorite ride at Disney? If you don't know the character, you might not know the ride, but I'm going to ask anyway. And if you don't have a specific favorite character, are there characters that you do like more than others? I probably should have prepped you for all of this, Jessica, ahead of time. Everybody else, you guys can answer the questions too if you'd like. Your favorite character and your favorite Disney ride. I think y'all know my favorite character. She hasn't ridden her favorite ride yet, but her favorite to watch people ride is Tiana's. Ooh, nice. I like that. That's cool. So, Ruby, just a couple quick Tiana tips for you. If you want to get super soaked, you want to sit in the very front row of the boat. You're going to get wet. If you don't want to get very wet, sit in the back, and then when you need to, kind of duck down behind the person in front of you, and they'll take all the water. Lawns, Mickey Mouse, and Guardians, good options. Can't go wrong with Mickey for sure. So that's awesome, Tiana's. I like that. Mickey Mouse and Lilo, good one. I like that, Dina. I like Cinderella a lot, I guess, because her dress is my favorite color, blue. Ruby, I love that. Despite the fact that your name is a color and it's not blue, but I do love that you like Cinderella. That's I can say the same kind of answer for a different princess, but a different color. I love when Belle is in her yellow dress. I think it's a beautiful color. Hey, Amanda. Favorite character is Belle. My favorite ride is Rise of the Resistance. I love Rise of the Resistance. Ooh, she also likes Stitch. Very nice. Amanda, I say this all the time. Rise of the Resistance to me is the best, absolute best experience ride at Disney. Hey, Helen, welcome in. Good to see you. So Stitch is a good one. Ruby, I remember so my little boy, Ruby, he is 19 years old. But I remember when he was little and we went to Disney and we saw Stitch, and Stitch came up to him and pretended like he was picking a booger out of his nose and then wiped it in Tanner's hair. So he thought that was pretty funny. Oh, the Stitch behind me. Yes, up on the shelf. I actually did a little Disney decorating before, I think this was last weekend maybe. Put some of my Disney stuff up there so you guys could see it. That was somebody actually stitched that. It's I think it's like a crocheted stitch. Somebody made that for me. So pretty cool. Favorite character, Snow White. That's a good one. Favorite rides, Mickey Minnie Runaway Railway. I love that. Tron and Mickey Minnie's Railway. So the Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway, I think, is a great answer because I hear so many people that say they need to bring back the Great Movie Ride, which the Great Movie Ride was where Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway is currently at. So Ruby, I cannot wait because I think I heard a rumor that you're going to go to Disney and you're going to get to see Cinderella probably, and you'll get to see Stitch and probably ride Tiana's. But there's one other character that I think you're going to get to meet when you're there. Can you guess who that character might be? It's the best character at the park. But he is not there right now. He will be there when you're there. Who could it be? Anybody can guess. No guesses? I can't even think of who other than Mickey. Okay, well, Mickey's a good choice. So the character that I'm thinking of, Ruby, that you are going to get to meet when you are there is me. How's that sound? I know it's not as exciting as Mickey Mouse. Yep, there you go, Lamons. So, Ruby, when you are there, you and your mom and dad are there, I will be there, and hopefully lots of other people will be there. It's in November when we have our event. She smiled big and giggled. I'm as big a character as you're going to ever meet, Ruby, that's for sure. Goofy's got nothing on me. So, yeah, so that is in November the 13th through the 15th when we have our event that hopefully some of you are going to be able to attend. Love to meet everybody that can come. We had a great time last year at the event. It's September. We're going to do November this year, so it's not quite as hot, and we'll get to enjoy some of the Christmas decorations and things. So there you go, Ruby. There's your excitement for tonight. You're going to get to meet this character in November when you go to Disney. So I'm very excited about that, and I'm so happy that you're going to get to go. And if you need somebody to sit next to on Tiana's and you don't want it to be mom and dad, I'll sit by you. You got it. And I'll take as much water as you need me to take on. It usually finds me anyway. Oh, Cece, I'd love it if you could be there. Yeah, Christmas time is amazing at Disney, whether it's crowded or not. I've been there for New Year's a couple times. She said you're going in the back. Okay, Ruby, that's fine. I'll ride in the back. No problem. Christmas is my favorite time. Christmas decorations and all that at Disney World, just incredible. So, all right, let's dive in. Good, Dina, I'm excited that you're going to be there. I love that. Let's dive into questions. So, Cece, you're up first. Cece's first question, and I'll share some information, but you guys chime in if you have your favorites on this stuff to add. She asked, what is the best spot to watch fireworks at the park during Luminous? So that's at Epcot, around the World Showcase in the Big Lagoon. That's fine, Jessica, no worries. So here are some of mine, Cece, that I have. And again, you guys chime in with your favorite spots to watch Luminous if you have any. So for me, the one that comes to my mind first and foremost is the World Showcase Plaza. Hey, Amber, how are you? It's also called the front of the house. If you're walking in from the front entrance of Epcot, you got the golf ball behind you and you're walking towards the Big Lagoon. And that's where, everybody says, do you go left to Mexico? Do you go right to Canada? Right there is between the two gift shops is the World Showcase Plaza or front of the house. That's a great spot for viewing because it's a clear shot of the entire lagoon area. Plus, if you get there early enough before the show starts, you can turn yourself around and watch the golf ball show that they have a couple times throughout the evening. So it's a great spot to be, and you can watch both shows at the same time. Outside of that, if you go to between the Japan and America pavilions, there's a couple of good spots there. Another favorite of mine is in Japan, up on the second story of the Japan pavilion where Teppan-Edo, the dining restaurant is. There's a balcony deck area there. We enjoy that because you get an elevated view, which is kind of nice. So I like that one. Also, the bridge to France is a good one. But really, honestly, I've watched the show over the years and it hasn't always been Luminous. It's been the others as well from different places around the World Showcase. And as long as you're not standing behind a tree, you're going to get great views. I got a night off of baseball. Well, that's cool. So Cece, hopefully that helps. And again, if you guys have seen Luminous or seen Epcot Forever or Harmonious or Illuminations back in the day, and you have your favorite spot, hey, Jill, welcome in. Feel free to share your favorite spots in the chat with everybody. Yep, World Showcase Plaza. Has always been my favorite Le Mans. Absolutely. All right, Cece, her next question, and I assume this must not mean you, Cece, but maybe a relative. She wants to know which park is good for a 9-year-old that loves to let off energy. I laughed when I read that um, question when you first sent it in, CC. I thought it was pretty funny. So I'm going to give you 4 answers, and you can probably figure out there's 4 parks. So my answers are going to be each park, but there's different reasons behind that. So my first thought when I read your question, and I just off top of my head started writing stuff down, Magic Kingdom was my first answer. And I said that first and foremost because it has the most rides, it has the most shows, it has the parade, it has the cavalcade, it has the fireworks. There's such a large variety of things to do that um, your 9-year-old that you're with can let off a lot of energy. So that was my first thought, was to say Magic Kingdom. Um, but then I thought, well, Epcot, you've got the World Showcase, that big lagoon. To walk that, it's 1.2 miles just to do it one time. So you can use up a lot of energy making your way around the World Showcase, obviously riding different rides, going from place to place. I mean, you think about some of the most popular rides, you can do quite a bit of walking from Frozen to Guardians to Remy to Soarin'. So there's a lot of real estate to walk at Epcot. So I thought of that. If your 9-year-old that you're with is a huge Star Wars fan or Toy Story fan, then obviously I would say Hollywood Studios. If they're in a place where they're really excited, they're probably burning a lot of energy. So I think that's why I thought about that. A lot of stuff to do in those areas, a lot of things to see. And sometimes it isn't just the physical energy that they're burning, but the mental energy. Again, whether they're Toy Story or Star Wars fan, getting into those lands and just being absorbed mentally and visually with the things you see and experience and the sights and sounds, that can also work energy out of you. And then that lastly leaves Animal Kingdom. There's plenty of walking to do at Animal Kingdom. If he or she is an animal lover, there's lots of walking. There's the trails that you can do. There's the shows. There's a few of the rides. So there's a lot to consume your energy at Animal Kingdom as well. So, Cece, I'm hoping you weren't hoping for me to just give you one park and one answer, because I guess I can also tell you they could probably burn a lot of energy if you take them to the water park, going up the ladders to the stairs to the water slides and the wave pool and things like that. You can burn a lot of energy there. So there's no one. That's the one beauty thing that I think about Disney is there's no one answer that fits all. There's several answers that fit each question. Anybody have any thoughts on that as far as where a 9-year-old could burn off their most energy at Disney? Spot on. Okay. Thanks, Lamont. Appreciate that. All right, Dina, you're up next. And I think I preface this that I loved her question because it's something that I don't remember talking about. So I was really excited to have the question asked. And it was really kind of multiple questions, but it's all around the same topic. So let's dive into this. Dina asked, how do split stays work if you are using a discount? Would it apply to both hotels you're staying at? Do they transfer all your luggage from one hotel to the other? Okay. So when the term split stay is a Disney customer term, Disney itself, while they hear it, there's no such thing truly as a split stay to Disney. For argument's sake, let's say I was going to go down there and stay at Pop Century for 3 days and then stay at the Grand Floridian for 3 days. To Disney, I'm making 2 reservations. And that's exactly what you would be doing, is making 2 reservations, one at each resort for the length of your stay. So again, if I did 3 days and 3 days, it's 2 separate reservations. And so I could get the discounts applied to both resorts. Okay. There's pros and cons around split stays. They can be a good way to piece together a Disney World vacation when maybe availability is limited. Maybe you were going to stay for 6 nights and you can't get 6 nights at a resort, but you can do 3 and 3, and they have availability there. So that's a good thing to do. Um, it's a great way if if you're like me and you can't really afford to stay at the deluxe resorts for 7 nights, but do a couple nights at the deluxe and do 4 or 5 at value or moderate resort. That's a good option there. But I'm going to just read what I wrote down here, Dina, so I don't miss any of the thoughts. Split stay is basically 2 separate reservations. The discount would apply to each reservation accordingly, provided there's availability of the promotion at the resorts and you meet the minimum requirements. So, for instance, if you have to have a 4-night minimum stay, and you're only going to be there 6 nights, well, only one of the 2 resort reservations would qualify. So that's why I make that comment there. You can opt to buy the park tickets on just one reservation, getting the most value for the cost. What I mean by that is if I buy a 2-day park ticket, or let's do my original. If I buy a 3-day park ticket and then I buy a 3-day park ticket, I'm paying the price for what a 3-day ticket costs. The more days you add on to a ticket package, the less it is per day at the park. So in my example of 3-day stay at Pop Century, 3-day stay at Grand Floridian, one of those 2 would be a resort only stay, and the other one I would book with the 6-day park tickets so that I get the best price for the park tickets by doing a 6-day ticket. You can purchase Memory Maker just one time, and it's good for up to 30 days from activation. So it'd be good for both reservations. You don't have to buy it for both. You can purchase the resort refillable mug just once, and it is good for up to 14 days from the date of purchase at any of the resorts. So that's a good deal there. If you're buying the Disney trip protection, some people call it insurance, it can only be purchased for packages. Okay. So in my example, if I do a 3-day stay at Pop Century and buy 6-day park tickets and then do a 3-day stay at Grand Floridian, I could only get trip protection on the Pop Century with the park ticket package. So again, if you did one reservation and made the second one room only, you could only purchase trip protection for the first reservation. Because they are separate reservations, you'd have to make 2 down payments, one for $200 and the other, if it's a room only, is the cost of a 1-night stay. So with that in mind, I said 3 days Pop Century, 3 days Grand Floridian. To lessen the amount of money out of pocket when you're making the reservations, you would do a reservation with tickets for one and one without tickets, which is room only. Because the room only is your first night stay plus tax, to lessen the amount of money you have to pay up front. In my example, we would do Grand Floridian for 3 nights with 6-day park tickets, package deal, $200 deposit. I would do my 3-night stay Pop Century, separate reservation. I would pay 1-night stay at Pop plus tax. The room rate for Pop Century is far less expensive than Grand Floridian, so your out of pocket money up front would be much smaller. So yeah, you want to make the less expensive resort the one that has the tickets, so that it's less money out of your pocket. Hey Shannon, welcome in. Hey Blake, how are you? Okay, so here, Dina, some pros that I have written down as far as doing a split stay. It can be easier to access the parks. And I'll use my example. Staying at Grand Floridian, I would want Magic Kingdom to be one of my park days, and probably Epcot because I can take the monorail there. Staying at Pop Century, I would want Epcot, or I would want Hollywood Studios and then probably Epcot, my park days there because of the Skyliner. Makes it more convenient. You can get possibly more flexibility with the Disney dining plan. Okay. The dining plan allows you to prepay for your meals, so you have less to worry about during your stay. Typically, you can only opt to purchase the dining plan for the full length of your stay, not just a portion of it. And so what I mean by that is some people say, I don't really want to spend the money on the dining plan for a 6-night stay. Well, if you do a split stay, it's 2 separate reservations. I could do the dining plan on one of them and not do the dining plan on the other. So I'd get 3 days worth of dining plan and then 3 days without it. So it gives you that flexibility. However, since it is split stays, it does count as separate reservations. So to choose, you can choose to purchase the dining plan for only one of the legs. I'm going to get into, I think, a con on that here in a minute as well. In 2025, right now, if you book package stays at the resorts, you get a free water park admission on your arrival day. Since you're booking 2 separate reservations, you essentially would get 2 separate water park days. The day I arrive to Disney World and check into Pop Century for my first 3 nights. And then when I check out, the day I check out of there, I'd be checking into the Grand Floridian. I would have for that day free water park admission. So if you wanted to hit the water parks, that's a great way in 2025 to get 2 free days of water park. And then the other thing in my example of Pop Century and Grand Floridian, since Grand is a deluxe resort, I would be able to get the extended evening hours on the specific nights that they offer that at Magic Kingdom or Epcot right now. So when booking that, we would want to be creative in how you do that and make sure that we have your deluxe resort stay fall on one of the nights of the extended evening hours. Dina, I see your question. I'm going to finish rattling off here real quick, and then I will read it and answer. As far as some of the cons go about doing a split stay, to me, this is the first one that comes to my mind. I've always thought about it, and it's always been kind of probably the biggest turnoff for me is I have to pack and unpack multiple times. So I packed at home, get there, unload all my stuff at Pop Century for 3 nights, have to pack it all up, unpack at Grand Floridian, and then pack at the end of the trip. So that's one of the cons. Being without a room on transfer day. So checkout is 11 a.m. at Resort 1, we'll call it that, Pop Century. Check-in is 3 p.m. at Resort 2, Grand Floridian. So you may have several hours in there where you don't have a room to go to. So you want to keep that in mind. There's more effort to booking dining, okay? Right now, when I book a package, and for my family, we're going at the end of May, 60 days prior to check-in is when you can make your dining reservations, okay? So on 60 days prior, which I think was March 29th, March 30th, something like that, I was able to log in that morning and book our dining. If you're doing a split stay with 2 reservations and you're going to book dining through those 6 days, you got to do it twice because it's 2 separate reservations. So I can only book reservation 1 for the days that I'm there. And then in my scenario, 3 days later, which would be 60 days from check-in of the second stay, I could do my dining reservations then. So keep that in mind. Dina, you had asked about luggage. So the resort transfer itself is easy. On the morning you check out of your first resort, you take your luggage down to Bell Services and indicate to them that you're transferring resorts. They'll ask where you're going, at which point you'll want to specify the full name of the resort which you're going. You don't want to just say All Stars, for instance, because there's 3 of them. Most transfers occur in the middle of the afternoon, so plan on not receiving your luggage at the next resort until at least 5 p.m. So keep that in mind. At your new resort, you'll almost always have to either go down to Bell Services to retrieve your luggage or call down and have them delivered up to your room. And if you do that, please consider tipping for the services. Big note here, luggage transfer is only available to Disney resorts. And you might be like, well, duh, but Good Neighbor hotels that allow you early park entry, for instance, Drury Inn is one that comes to my mind. All of those Good Neighbor resorts do not provide a luggage transfer. If you happen to be military and you're staying at Shades of Green, that is not a Disney-owned property. They do not transfer your luggage. If you're staying at the Swan or the Dolphin, those are not Disney-owned resorts. Those are Marriott properties. They will not transfer your luggage. So it's important to note that. If you want them to transfer your luggage, you need to be staying inside the bubble at Disney-owned resorts. And while I'm on that topic, if you were staying at the Swan, for instance, the buses that take you to the park, so if you think, well, I'll just hop on the bus with my luggage and go to Magic Kingdom, then hop on the bus and go to wherever, you can't put your luggage on the buses that are going to the parks or to Disney Springs, for instance. So you need to keep that in mind. Okay. Great info. So would the bounce back apply for both reservations since there isn't a minimum night stay? Example, 3-day value and 1-day deluxe. Yes. So bounce back offer, in case anybody doesn't know what that is, when you have a current Disney stay, let's for argument's sake say I'm at Disney World right now. Doesn't look like it, but let's just pretend. Anytime while I'm there, up to 7 days after I check out, I can book a future stay at Disney and get what's called the bounce back offer. The bounce back offer is up to 25% off room rate at value resorts, up to 30% off at moderate resorts, and up to 35% off at deluxe resorts. Hey, Janie, have not gotten your question yet, Janie, so good timing. So one of the best discounts in my mind you can get is the bounce back offer or the return stay offer for a couple reasons. One, the percentage. There are no other promotions that give you up to 35% off at deluxe resorts, never more than that. The other thing is you're guaranteed that you're going to get that. When you book that next trip, as long as there's availability under the bounce back offer, you're booking it, you're locked into a reservation or locked into a discount. Whereas if I was just going to book a future trip, there may not be discounts offered at that point in time, and I have to roll the dice and hope that one comes out. Okay, so that's what the bounce back is. The beauty of the bounce back, anybody who's in the reservation, so if it's me and my wife and two of my adult children, for instance, there's 4 of us. Any one of the 4 of us can book bounce back. Doesn't have to be just the lead guest. Any one of the 4, up to 7 days after checkout, and I can book as many multiple trips as I want under that bounce back. So Dina, in your question with split stay, absolutely. When you check out, say today's checkout day, we can book your split stay. What'd you do? 3 days at a value with the bounce back. 1 night at a deluxe, you get the bounce back. Hey, Ronnie, if you wanted to book two months later, within that 7-day checkout, I can book a trip next month with bounce back. I can book one the next month. You can book multiple unlimited return stays under the bounce back offer, as long as you're doing it within 7 days of checkout, and there's availability under the promotion for the resort that you want to stay at. So it's an incredible offer. And VB, you're right. It is the only way to go. Now, the bounce back offer is just like any other promotion. There's limited availability. There may be rooms available, but they don't make the promotion available to every room available there. So Dina, I hope that helps. If you have more questions like you've done already, pop them in here and I can circle back on them. Perfect. Thank you so much. Yep. Good. Awesome. All right, Janie, I'm glad that you just joined because it's time for Janie's question. And hey, Skell, welcome in. So Janie, I will be honest with you, when I read your question, I giggled at first, but actually then it was like, oh man, there's some strategic answers to your question that I think are very valuable for somebody that would have this question to ask. And Janie asked, what is the shortest Skyliner ride or route? I'll call it that. What is the shortest Skyliner route, asking for us beginners? So somebody that's never been on it before, maybe somebody that's a little uneasy about heights, that sort of thing. Perfect question. Okay. I'm going to give you the shortest routes that you can ride, and then we'll talk in details about that. The absolute shortest ride that you will take on the Skyliner is from the Caribbean Beach Resort hub to the Riviera. At the Riviera, you can get off if you choose to, or you can stay on and it takes you to Epcot. But from Caribbean Beach to Riviera, it's 3 minutes. So you're up in the air for 3 minutes. You're over land. You're over top of some of the Caribbean Beach Resort rooms, buildings with the rooms in them. So it's a pretty short run. That's a great way to test out whether you think you can handle a longer distance on the Skyliner. The second and third shortest are both about the same. Yep. Caribbean Beach to Riviera is your absolute shortest, Janie. The other two are 5 minutes in length. It's either to the Caribbean, from Caribbean Beach to Hollywood Studios, or from Caribbean Beach to Pop Century. Either one of those are 5 minutes in length. This is personal preference, right? I mean, if you're somebody who's a little shaky with heights, I bring this up because from Caribbean Beach Resort to Pop Century, there's about a third of that ride where you're over top of a lake. That might be something that comforts somebody. It might be something that makes somebody else a little bit more nervous. From Caribbean Beach Resort to Hollywood Studios, you're pretty much over dry land. I think there might be a small canal that you go over, but you're over dry land. Part of it, you're going over the parking lot at Hollywood Studios itself. But either one of those is 5 minutes. I hate water. Okay, so that's why I bring that up, Janie. We've stayed at Pop Century several times, and I do the Skyliner all the time there. Never doesn't bother me. Coming home at night when it's pitch dark out, though, I won't lie, it's a little eerie when you know you're over top of that water. So those are your best options. Now you got to get to Caribbean Beach Resort to do any of those, or to Pop Century if you're going to do that one. If you're a local, you can always park at Disney Springs and take the bus to Caribbean Beach Resort, and then you have to walk to the Skyliner Hub. That's an option. If you're going to one of the parks for the day, then you could go to the park and take a bus back to Caribbean Beach. But bottom line, you want to get to Caribbean Beach Resort. That is your best option. Hey, Helen, welcome back. So that is your best option. And again, I tell people this all the time who work with me in booking resorts. I explain to them the Skyliner and the fact that you're up off the ground 30, 40 feet, maybe 40. I don't know. That might be precedent. 30 feet. And so if you have a fear of heights at all, and you've not been down there, you've not seen it, I highly recommend my guests, my clients, customers stay at a non Skyliner resort so that you're not having to face the fear of that ride. Go down, and I tell people this all the time. When you're at Hollywood Studios, the Skyliner is right there. So when you're parking in the parking lot or getting off the bus, you walk right by the Skyliner. You can see how high off the ground it is. Get a feel for it. And then if you think you could do it and want to try it, again, the shortest route is Caribbean Beach to Riviera. It's about 3 minutes. It's quick. The scenery is amazing. That's one of the things I love about the Skyliner. Great scenery. You're not crammed in with 80 people like you're on the bus. At most, there might be 8 of you. I've been on the Skyliner with 8 other adults, so 9 adults, in the middle of the day in May. It was 90 degrees out, and it was comfortable in that ride the whole time. The way they've designed it, the airflow makes it very comfortable in there. I'm a huge Skyliner fan, and because of that, I'm a huge Pop Century fan. But Janie, I love the question. I think it's a great one to talk about. Again, somebody they think they can do it, but they're not positive. I would want them to go down, stay somewhere else, try it first before you get to a resort that you're kind of, because if you just say, forget it, I'm going to stay at Pop Century, your option for travel to Epcot and to Hollywood Studios from Pop Century in the morning, first thing, is the Skyliner. They don't have bus service unless the Skyliner is not running. So you want to keep that in mind, that you'll have to ride the Skyliner or you'll have to get an Uber, and then you're paying for it. I suppose you could take the bus to Magic Kingdom and then take a bus to the other parks, but the other park buses from park to park don't start until 10 a.m. So you'd spend so much time taking a bus to Magic Kingdom and then a bus to another resort and then a bus to Hollywood Studios. So keep that in mind. Good stuff. Janie, you'll pass. You already gave up. Do you think you would consider the 3-minute ride, Janie? Three minutes is not bad. It does go pretty quick. And when you think about it, of the 3 minutes, probably 30 seconds on either side of it, you're no more than 5-10 feet off the ground. So yeah, I'd be interested. If anybody who's not, you're on the tram now, so it's hard. Okay, loud, I can't hear. All right, I'll ask. Anybody else that's on that is not a Skyliner fan, you don't think you'd do it? Do you think you would try that 3-minute route from Caribbean Beach to the Riviera? Is there anybody else on that is a huge Skyliner fan like I am? Or am I the only one? We just stayed at Pop Century and the Skyliner saved us a ton of time. Yes, Dina. Yes, yes, yes. We're going to do everything, Shannon. I love it. Oh, Shannon, I have a friend. I told you I'd have my friend here. VB's not fans. We avoid Skyliner at all costs. Would love to stay at a resort online, but never would. I get that. I think it's just you, Mike. Come on, Ronnie. So yeah, so if you're looking at this going, what in the heck is that? It's a pickle plush. And if you're not familiar with the whole pickle thing, I hate pickles. Can't eat them. I just despise the flavor, the taste, the texture. I think even don't like how the word is spelled, everything about it. Well, last year at the September get-together, I had agreed that if a fundraiser raised a certain amount of money, that I would take a bite of a pickle. And so I did that, took the bite. It was god-awful. I thought they were going to have to take me to the hospital and have my stomach pumped. Thankfully, I survived. But yeah, people have, when they see pickles, they tend to think of me, I guess. Okay, let's see here. I don't think I've ever been on it, says Jill. Okay. Helen loves the Skyliner. That a girl. He's in a great home. Thanks, Shannon. Cece, you would try the Skyliner? Awesome. I like that. Friend and I rode it fun when we did a water park trip. That's cool. That's really cool, Helen. I tell you, there's been times I've been down there and we weren't going to a park that evening or whatever, and so we just rode the Skyliner. Great view. I love pickles. Thanks, Jill. No, Unicourse, no. Don't even try. I struggled hard at that. Yeah, but I appreciate all of the fun that you guys have with that. Scale never been, but I'm actually looking forward to trying the Skyliner for the heck of it. Yeah, I would. If you have a park hopper ticket, that's another thing that the Skyliner is a massive advantage to doing park hopping between Hollywood Studios and Epcot. You hop on the Skyliner, you're not waiting for buses. The walk is shorter. When you leave Hollywood Studios, you walk right by the Skyliner to then get to the buses. And it's a good size walk past the Skyliner to the buses. So it's shorter. Yes, Helen, Shannon gave that to me. So I, not a new friend, so I'd have a friend. I think that's what you meant to say. So anyway, yes, park hopping between Hollywood and Epcot is great with the Skyliner. I know somebody said that, it might have been Dina, that they saved a ton of time. Now, I'll tell you, first thing in the morning at Pop Century, because Pop Century and Art of Animation share the same hub for the Skyliner, the line is long. I won't kid you. It is long, but it goes fast. It was a year ago, December, the very first night of Luminous. I was there for the very first night of Luminous. The park was packed, a ton of people. Well, when you get on the Skyliner at Epcot, you don't walk out of the front of the park by the golf ball. You walk out the back of the park, the International Gateway, between France and the UK in the World Showcase. And that night, when we walked out of that park, you walk by the Skyliner station to get in line. We walked and walked and walked. We were all the way to the boardwalk when that line ended. It still moved quick. I mean, you think of the continuous rides like a Haunted Mansion, like Buzz Lightyear. I'm drawing a blank on other ones, but those were Peter Pan. Those where the ride keeps moving and people load, unload, load, unload. And so the line's always kind of moving. That's how the Skyliner is. The line's always moving because they're loading the cabs as they fill up, and they just keep moving. And so it goes really fast. You're not standing in line a long time, which is great. Wait a minute, what? Uh, oh, Huey, Bluey. Yes, because of my 20-month-old grandson, I've become a huge Bluey fan too. Maybe I should say I've become tolerant of Bluey. Maybe that's a better way to put it. So anyway, okay. Now it's my turn to ask you guys questions, and I love doing this. We've done this for 2 or 3 weeks now, and so I enjoy just kind of thinking in my head, what are some of the questions I want to ask? If you were not with us last week, the question I asked was, what is one job you would want to have if you worked inside one of the 4 parks? Okay, so that was the question, and a lot of great answers as far as what people would want to do: ride attendant, character attendant. Those came to my mind off the top of my head. People said I had said I would be Sorcerer Mickey on the top of the mountain at Fantasmic at Hollywood Studios. So that was one of last week's questions. You want to be a stormtrooper because they could talk. I love that, Shannon. That's awesome. Oh, thanks, Ronnie. Shannon, when I first read I want to be a stormtrooper, I picture the ones that are like motionless inside the ride. Okay, so question 1 for tonight is, outside of the 4 parks, but still at Walt Disney World, what job would you want to have? So you got to be outside of any one of the 4 parks, but at Disney on property. So what job would you like to have in that scenario? I'm going to take a drink and let you guys think and pop in your answers. I like that, Helen. Although I don't know if there are any jobs at Animal Kingdom Lodge that handle the animals. I would imagine they're all in the park itself, but I gotcha. Bus driver, or work anything at French Quarter to get beignets daily. I like that, Unicourse. So, Unicourse, have you ever driven something as big as a bus or close to it? I like the French Quarter idea. Although, if I ate beignets every day, I don't know. Front desk at a resort, you're one of the first and then one of the last cast members guests get to interact with. I love that, BBs. That's a great answer. Groundskeeper, Animal Kingdom Lodge. There you go, Blake. Dina would be a baker working on the gingerbread house or other special displays like the Easter eggs. Love that. Unicourse would be willing to learn how to drive a bus. Working guest services at Disney Springs. Okay, Lamont, I like that. Anybody else have an outside of the park job they would like to do at Disney that hasn't chimed in yet? Shannon, Ronnie, what do you guys got? Yeah, I like Dina's being baker. I'd be a squirrel. Oh, Shannon, you did say stormtrooper. That's right. You'd be a squirrel and get all the goodies people give them. That's funny. So I gave it a little thought, and for me, I think I would have a ball being a cast member in Grand Floridian. I think I would have a ball if I could be a skipper on one of the boats. And I don't mean the big paddle boat that goes from the TTC to Magic Kingdom. I'm talking about the ones that the friendship boats that go like from the Grand Floridian to Magic Kingdom, or the ones that go from Hollywood Studios to Yacht Beach Club and Swan and Dolphin, and then over to Epcot. I think I would love doing that. That would be so much fun. Although I've driven boats, and that part is pretty easy, but man, they are so skilled at docking those things. And I mean, it's like they're pulling in the cotton. They don't bounce off the docks or anything. Many van drivers always talk about how much they enjoy their jobs. Scale that, it would be another good one. Yes. The beauty there is even in the middle of summer, you're in air conditioning. I like that one. That's a good one too. Always wanted to work at a hotel, so anything at a resort would make me happy. I like that, Ronnie. That's cool. Any specific? So some of you did say resort, like cast member, check-in and that sort of thing. Ronnie, you said anything at a hotel. Any specific resort at Disney World that you would like to work at if you could pick? And then we'll go to my second question here in a minute. French Quarter or Poly? I think part of the equation of which resort, not Poly, says Ronnie, Grand Floridian, Contemporary. Now, obviously, there are kids at all of the resorts. I'm not saying there aren't, but there are probably more children at the value resorts simply because it's more affordable for families. So I always think, boy, you really, really, really have to love kids to work at one of those. Alan will come visit Ronnie. Yeah, gosh, if I had to pick, I work at a hotel, but not sure I would want to. It can get a bit crazy. It can. Imagine, though, working at one of the resorts when a hurricane comes in and maybe the parks are closed for a day and they really try to keep the guests sheltered as much as they can, but entertain them in the resorts. I think that would be so, I mean, your adrenaline's got to just be at an all-time high when that happens. I think that'd be pretty cool. So I like Poly. Okay. I have one more question for you guys. And I thought this one just came to me yesterday. And I've thought about this one before. So if any of you have ridden Guardians of the Galaxy at Epcot, the amazing roller coaster that most people say is the best ride at Disney, and I can't dispute that, there's 6 different songs that play. And I should have written them all down. I don't remember them all. I know Conga is one of them. September is one of them. I'm drawing a blank on the others, and that's okay. But they've been the same 6 songs since the ride opened 2 years ago, roughly. And it's random draw as to which song you get. I am of the mindset that it is time for new songs, whether they keep any of them and sprinkle new ones in or scrap them all and bring any new songs in. So we got September 1st ride. Yes, we did, Shannon. That's right. So my question is, what song or songs would you like to see added to Guardians of the Galaxy? Sky's the limit. So I'll give you a couple minutes to think about that. And as you think of rides or think of Crazy Train, I like that, Blake. Yeah, if you think of songs, pop them in there. The beauty of these kind of questions, gang, there's no right or wrong answer. Whatever tickles your fancy. That is hard, VBs. I mean, it really is, right? I mean, you could go, there's such a wide range. I mean, you could throw in some Beach Boys music, Def Leppard, Rolling Stones. Now, any of you that know me, you're not going to be surprised when I say throw in some Huey Lewis and the News. Star Wars theme song for layover on May the 4th. That'd be pretty cool, Cece. I like that idea. Michael Jackson, Beat It. Yes, Le Mans. I'd be down for any of Michael Jackson stuff. Beat It, Thriller. Those would be great. Should stay old school with 80s, 90s vibes. Yep. I'm okay with that. Absolutely. Love Mr. Blue Sky. Yep. So I know everybody's like, I want to get September. I want to get September. Well, there's only one September in a year and I don't need to have that many Septembers happen. So I'd love to see some new songs circulate in. I mean, have like a jukebox of 50 songs and it's a random roll of the dice and whatever lands on, you get one of those 50. I mean, the ride itself is the same, but the vibes of the music can make the experience just feel different. So if you have more songs that could possibly play, I think it'd be pretty cool. But you could probably sprinkle in some Beatles. I already mentioned Beach Boys. I think I said Rolling Stones. I know I said Huey Lewis. There's a lot of different options that would make it pretty fun, I think. Any other suggestions you guys have? I liken this having more songs that are options to this idea that I've floated before. I wish they would take the Star Tours concept where there's about 8 different videos that you might sit and see in the theater, and it's random. I wish they'd take that same concept and have multiple Soren experiences, and they're random. So you're not seeing the same one every time. You might get a repeat here and there, but you'd also have options of different ones. I think that really takes Soren to the next level, so to speak. And I think same thing with Guardians, if they could have additional songs. Good night, Helen. Thanks for popping in. Sleep well. Could throw in some Aerosmith since they're changing. Yep. Rock and Roller Coaster. I think that's a good idea, BBs. Yeah, I think you could absolutely do that with Aerosmith. I think that'd be pretty cool. CC, I really like your Star Wars layover on 4th of July, or 4th of July, and May 4th. May the 4th be with you. 4th of July, May 4th, whatever, right? It's all the same. So I thought that was fun. It just crossed my mind. And I know if you guys are on other Discords, that conversation comes up all the time, and people despise a certain one, love another one. Van Halen is another great one, Shannon. I love that. So many people they want September, and I feel like there's of the 6, and I mentioned the other one. I think Conga is the one that people love or people hate, and that seems to be. Hey, Tina, welcome in. So, Tina, here's the question we're doing right now, and I'm gonna throw both of them at you, Tina, so you can think about them for a second. The first question I asked was for this week: what is one job outside of the parks but at Disney World that you would like to do? And then the second question that we're talking about right now, Tina, is if you could remove or replace or add to the songs that are available on Guardians of the Galaxy, what would you like to see added? So those are my 2 questions for the night, and we've had a lot of fun chatting about those. So, Tina, it's all on you. The spotlight's on you. What job would you like outside of the parks but in the bubble? And then what song or songs or artist would you like to see at Guardians of the Galaxy? I mentioned the Beach Boys. I mentioned the Beatles, Rolling Stones. Of course, I mentioned Huey Lewis and the News. Somebody mentioned bring Aerosmith over, Michael Jackson, Boat Driver in the Springs. Tina, I said Boat Driver. Jill, work at the stables. That is an awesome answer, Jill. I never even thought of that. That would be so cool. Oh, man, that would be so cool. Forget the boat. I'm going to the stables. Oh, that'd be Air Supply. I like that. That's kind of fun. Great minds think alike. That's right, Tina. I did. Well, a lot of those boat drivers like to have, it's kind of like the Jungle Cruise. They have their dad jokes. Well, I've got my dad jokes, right? Do you know why I don't ever run out of jokes? Because I can take a joke. All right, so Tina, so you said boat driver. So any songs or artists that you would like to see either added to Guardians or replace some of the other songs? Don Johnson, Heartbeat. Nice, Shannon. Oh, Tina, since you joined late, look at my new friend that I have. Shannon there in the chat was kind enough to send this to me. So now I have a pickle plush. Oh, from the Guardians movie. I like that. Dina, that's nice. That's a good one. Keep it connected a little bit. Again, I just think it's time for them to either replace the songs or add new ones so that there's still just some flavor of newness and excitement to the ride. I mean, if you get the same song of those 6 repeatedly, it's just another roller coaster to me. I mean, to me, that was always one of the things I thought that set Rock and Roller Coaster apart was the music that you had right there. Panic at the Disco. Nice. I always think about Rock and Roller Coaster, and I mean, it was always Aerosmith, obviously, but there seemed like 4 or 5 different ones that you get randomly, and it just really jazzed up the thing. Love the pickle. Yeah. Thanks, Tina. That was really nice of Shannon to send that to me. Yes, BBs, you're absolutely right. Yeah, just to think about that. Epcot forever has been known as the park with the construction walls because they've always been up. Well, now they're going to be at the other three parks for the next couple of years. Can't go wrong with panic. That's right, John. Shannon. Um, yeah, I mean, I hopefully, I mean, I don't know that Disney really needs to um, advertise Epcot as the park to be at because they have the festivals that go on almost the entire year, minus about a 10-day period in between festivals, 10 to 2 weeks, something like that, 10 days, 2 weeks. So they always have those going on, but Epcot's going to be probably a more popular park as these other parks have stuff that gets shut down while they're doing the new expansions. I mean, you think about Animal Kingdom without most of Dino Land, there's not a whole lot left of that park. Hollywood Studios, when they board up all of the Muppets area, yeah, I know it was just a show, but it's still an attraction that had several hundred people in it that could take some of the line away from other things. Yeah. VBs, I don't know that Disney needs help in finding ways to get more money. That's one thing that they excel in for sure. But um, I think they've got it feels like they have more promotions going on right now than they usually do. And I think that's kind of a way to encourage people to, hey, come to Disney, come to Disney. Forget about that Epic thing over at Universal. We don't even want to talk about them. So I think that's kind of a Disney's way to push that. I think what a lot of people lose sight of, because most people on the sideline, if you will, are like, Disney needs to add a new park. Universal's doing it, and they're going to blow right by Disney. And the reality is, Disney added Guardians, Disney added Tron, they added Remy, and they added Mickey, Minnie's Running Away. All those things that they've added were anticipation of Epic coming. And then their announcements of Monsters Inc. Land at Hollywood and Central America's at Animal Kingdom and Cars Land and Villains Land at Magic Kingdom. Those are all steps taken to combat what Universal is doing. And again, I know people say Disney needs to open a fifth park. They need a fifth park. And maybe they do at some point, but it's obviously it takes a while to build an entire park. And I don't think people realize Epic Universe, the construction started in 2019. So it's a process, right? I mean, you've got to do all the sewer work, electrical, water. You've got to get roads. You've got to get parking. Usually, when you build a new park, you're going to build new resorts. It takes a lot of time to do that. If you add to a particular park that already exists, a lot of the infrastructure is there. And so adding a new land doesn't take near as much effort. And I know I had this conversation with a couple other folks that it feels like Test Track. It feels like it's been closed forever. And yeah, about a year. But the difference is when Test Track is closed or any ride for refurbishment, you're losing out because you had it before. None of us had Epic before. Think back when Animal Kingdom opened. None of us had Animal Kingdom before that opened. So building brand new, you don't feel like you're missing out until it's open. But when they close an existing ride to refurbishment, you're losing out on something. Yep. You're absolutely right, Tina. So I look to, can't wait for Villains Land. The concept drawings look amazing. They do, Blake. And man, I know I said this probably the last 2 weeks, but if you watch the video, concept art video of the Monsters Inc. roller coaster, where the track is going to be above you, and you load on the cart, and then they raise the cart up to the track, and then you go. That just blew me away. I've ridden on coasters where the track is above your head, but usually you get on, and then the floor drops, and you take off. This one lifts you up in the air. It looks amazing. I'm so excited for 2027 with the new expansions at the parks. I think they're going to just be amazing. But between now and then, I mean, there's not a lot frankly, in Animal Kingdom. There's not very many rides. They have great shows, and the animals are amazing, but they don't have a lot of rides. So getting that Tropical Americas open will help quite a bit. Yeah, VB's, that coaster looks incredible. I can't wait. Cannot wait. Although I will go to my grave sadly missing Muppets 3D Vision. I've always loved that show, and thankfully it'll still be going when we get there at the end of May. So I'll get to see it 1 or 2 or 10 more times. Blake, that's conversation that I've actually had, that maybe next year we go to Disneyland instead and do Disney World in 2027. Yeah, Shannon, we were going to see it, and it went down, right? If I remember right. I think that was when we were all together down there. So yeah, Blake, that's something we've talked about a little bit. And it's hard because I've been to both places, and I would never throw shade on either one of them. They're amazing, but they're very different. I mean, there's up to Disneyland, the fact you can walk between both parks like that. You don't have to wait for transportation and then ride it for 20 minutes and whatever. Love that. But for me, the thing that I think sets Disney World apart that I absolutely love is when you go there, you leave the rest of your normal world behind. You're just somewhere where there's nothing else out there. Where at Disneyland, I feel like, oh, on the other side of that brick wall is, a gas station and cars and whatever. Good, Dean. I'm glad that you got to see it. Yes, I love that. So very different, but yeah, I think maybe next year we might consider doing Disneyland for a trip, and our meet and greet this November that we're doing, and I'll talk about that here in a second, then we'll wrap up. But maybe we do a Disneyland meet and greet next year. Oh, that's cool, Shannon. So yeah, you've only been there as a kid, so going as an adult, I would think that would probably bring back some memories for you. But obviously, a lot has changed since then. And you'd make a lot of new memories. And I don't mean that because you're old. I'm not saying that whatsoever. But, things change, right? 10, 15 years. Yeah, so in 82 was last time. So that's been a little while. Yes, Dina, the Christmas party in November. So exciting. Okay, so you said November. I mentioned this early on. November 13th through the 15th is our meet and greet down at Disney World. I got to take a drink. So it's November 13th through the 15th, the meet and greet, family and friend festival, if you want to call it that. I'm calling it the Park Life Party. Would love to have any and all of you that can come. If you need help booking your trip, I would absolutely love to work with you on that. It's not required, but I'd love to work with you and help you out with that. There's some on the chat right now that were at September's event, and I think I speak for all of them. We had an amazing time. It was great to meet people that we do this with and chat with all the time. But it was great to actually meet them in person, spend some time with them. For me, for some of them, not only did I get to spend time with them, but their families, their spouses, their children, got to see Disney through the eyes of a friend's child, which is amazing. Got to experience things that, I've been to Disney a dozen times, 24 times, whatever, but to go through it with somebody that you've just met for the first time was spectacular. And it was the first time we'd ever done something like that. We called it the Dream Stream last year. And I didn't know how it was going to work out. I didn't know if people were going to enjoy it or how it would go. But by the end of that weekend, everybody was like, when are we doing it next year? When are we going next year? And so it didn't take long for us to decide we're doing it. And this time we wanted to not have it as hot a time, which it was September was blazing when we were there, and wanted to experience Christmas. So that's why we picked November, so we could get Christmas in, not super crowded. It's before Thanksgiving. It's after Veterans Day. So hopefully a quote unquote lower crowd time. If you're on our Discord, I've got a page for the Park Life Party. I'll start putting more information out there on it here, kind of formulating the plan of what those 3 days will look like. And I'll share with you right now what I have in my mind. And a couple of you know this already, but on that Thursday, which is November 13th, for those that get there early enough, I'm thinking we're going to go to the Grand Floridian around 3 or 4, check out the gingerbread house, enjoy that, the scenery, everything. And then around 6, we're going to head to Disney Springs, and we'll meet with anybody that's there by then at Disney Springs. If it's going on, we'll do the Christmas tree stroll that evening. We'll take in everything that Disney Springs has to offer and enjoy our evening there. I do that first night that way so that if there's any of you that maybe you're an hour car ride away and you really can't do an entire weekend with us, you can drive over for the evening, hang out with everybody, and then go back home, and you got to be a part of it, got to meet people and enjoy some of it. Phoebe wants to know, how can we join the Discord? Tina or somebody, could you put the link to the Discord in the chat for me, please? I would really appreciate it if you could do that. That'd be great. So that's why we do that Thursday. No parks, nothing like that. It's just come, enjoy, hang out, and do some fun. Friday, which would be the 14th of November, based on the last 5 years that I researched, Fridays are a Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party night at Magic Kingdom. So for those that want to do this, we'll probably go to Magic Kingdom that day, spend the day there, and then do the Christmas party that night. If you don't want to be in the park during the day and just do the Christmas party, you can absolutely do that. People that have the Christmas party ticket can walk into the park as early as 4 o'clock. The party itself starts at 7. So you're getting about 3 hours of regular day park time, if you will, before the party starts. And then we go till midnight when the party ends. And then Saturday, I think I've decided we're going to do Epcot. We did Hollywood Studios last year. And again, with some of the construction going on, there's not as much at Hollywood. Same thing with Animal Kingdom, and it's a shorter park day anyway. So I think we're going to do Epcot on Saturday, get to enjoy the World Showcase, Guardians. We can stand in line and talk about our songs that we would like them to have that they don't have. Enjoy Luminous to wrap up the event. Some of us, like last year, are going to be there the entire week. Some of us might come in on Wednesday and leave on Sunday. Some might come in on Wednesday and leave on Monday, or come in on Wednesday and leave on Tuesday, whatever. And those of us that are there longer will probably interact a little bit here and there outside of those 3 days. So keep that in mind as well. Our base resort, if you want to call it that, is going to be All Star Movies. We designate a resort so that if people want to all stay at the same place so they can hang out outside of the park time, we've got one designated. I'm always super conscious of money and cost. And so we always select a value resort to make it as affordable as possible. You do not have to stay at All Star Movies. If you want to stay at Pop Century, if you want to stay at Port Orleans or Coronado, or you want to stay at Grand Floridian, or you want to stay off property, it's entirely up to you. Incredibly flexible with what you want to do. But we like to have a designated resort for those that want to stay at the same place and get to hang out. Tina, since I see your chat right there, last year it was Pop Century. We stayed there. Tina and her family stayed there. There were others that stayed there as well. But I will always remember, there were a lot of great memories from that trip, even the pickle thing. But for me, one of my favorite memories that I'll always hang on to is the fact that Thursday afternoon, before we had our get together with everybody, met anybody, my wife and I were there, and we had a late lunch at Pop Century with Tina and her husband and her daughter Ava. And I will forever remember that. And it was one of my favorite things of that whole weekend that we got to do. And that was kind of the value of having a designated resort for the event. So there you have it. Again, November 13th through the 15th. We would love to have you attend. I know I've already booked trips for a few, and I got one or two of you that we will be booking here probably in the next month or so when it's convenient for you. Would love to meet as many of you that can come. And again, if you want to come and you need help, hey, Ava, how are you? Yes, she does have a very sweet girl. And actually, I should take a step backwards. While that lunch with Tina and Connor and Ava was amazing and one of my favorite memories, I can't forget the fact that I got to be the one that told Ava that she was going to go to Disney and go to the Halloween party, and that was so awesome. We did that on one of our Wednesday night lives, so that was a lot of fun doing that with Ava. Hey, Jules, welcome in. We're almost wrapping up, as a matter of fact. So, yeah, thanks. The Discord link is there. Both Ronnie and Tina put it there. So if you haven't joined the Discord, I'd love for you to join. It's low key, my Discord. I don't want to inundate it with stuff and have people either feel like they got to spend an hour every day reading through it or get frustrated and stop reading it. I post stuff there on occasion. If you guys know me, you know I'm a jokester, so I put jokes out on our humor page often. And there's pages that are available for anybody that wants to chat, general page, that sort of thing. But I do share the link to the Monday podcasts that go out on YouTube channel and Spotify. We have a page for you to submit your questions for these Wednesday night chats. Would love to have you join. Yeah, Dina, if you're saying how sweet getting to tell her daughter Ava that she was going to Disney, that was a lot of fun. And for those of you that, if you weren't on at the very beginning tonight, Jessica, who was on, I know she said she was going to be bopping in and out, but they had just shared with their daughter Ruby that they're going to be going to Disney. It's in November for our event. And so I was chatting with Ruby a little bit about that, and that she would get to meet her favorite character when she goes. And she said that she will ride Tiana's with me, but we have to sit in the back. Thank you, Ronnie. I appreciate that. Yeah, so the podcast comes out Monday mornings. I usually have it up pretty early, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. It's on YouTube. If you can't get enough of this ugly mug here and you want to watch on YouTube, you can do that. If you're in your car, driving to work, driving home from work, you can always catch it on Spotify and listen that way. I try to keep them 30 to 40 minutes so they're not too terribly long. And if you have any topics that you would love to hear on a future podcast, share them in the Discord, message me directly, whatever you want to do. Absolutely do that. I'm always open to topics that are interesting to y'all. The one that I just dropped a couple days ago, we dove into dining plans and the value of them, what they offer, is it worth it, all of that sort of thing. So if you're interested in dining plans or how they work, or if they're worth it, give that a listen. So, and the one before that, I did my Mount Rushmore of topics, which I thought was kind of fun to do. All right, I'm going to pause. Any last thoughts, questions, comments that anybody has before we say our farewells for the night? Oh, that's awesome, Shannon. Yes, there were a lot of great group photos taken in September, and we all looked like drowned rats because we were sweating so much. Oh, Tina, don't worry about it. You have a beautiful daughter there, and doing anything with her is more important than being here with us. Yes, a lot of pictures. Oh, thank you, Jill. I appreciate that. I enjoy doing this. And you guys are what makes it fun, though. Your questions that you submit in help us kind of guide the conversation, and enjoy doing that. Thank you, Lamons. I appreciate that. So thank you, guys. I will start to say goodbye now. I appreciate you joining for tonight. We went, gosh, about an hour and a half. I don't ever want to go longer than that because I want to respect your time. I know that you have a lot of stuff going on, just like everybody else in the world. So I want you to enjoy your time with us and not take too much of it. Cannot wait until November either, Unicourse, although I have to be honest, since we're going to go next month and we're taking our grandson for his very first time. I'm over the moon excited about that right now. But when that trip is over, I'll be totally locked into November. So, all right, gang. I think that is a wrap for tonight. I appreciate everybody joining. Those that sent in questions, thank you again for that. I enjoy doing it. Tina, I cannot wait to see Briggs' smile either. I'm excited for that. 217 days till Disney. There you go, Shannon. No countdown is ever a bad countdown for Disney. Dina, thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right, gang. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow. And remember, when you wake up tomorrow, it is a great day to be alive. I will talk to y'all again next week. Bye, everybody. Have a good night.